And that's how we roll in Tiger Stadium.
Just watching the spring games that were on television, one thing that jumped out about your squad is your quarterback room is very talented compared to a lot of the league and a lot of the country. I wonder, is it easier to recruit that position when you have talent or when you don't have talent? Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification. We about to go live. We got all your favorite guests. We got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show. Come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question. I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we live. Open up the phone lines. Come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show. Yeah.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right.
Big day.
Start.
Big day.
Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show. Come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you for the time. Welcome in to a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show right here from our Click Here Digital Campus, live on this Thursday morning, built by RMB Builders. Remember, RMB Builders online at rmb-builders.com, and you can catch them on Instagram at RMB Builders. Give us a like, share, and follow. If you've not subscribed to the channel, make sure and give us a subscription before you get out of here as we get ready for a game day weekend in Baton Rouge. Hearing that this is going to be a sellout, that it is a sellout. Coming up
already
on
sold
night.
out.
Yeah, already sold out. Coming up on Saturday night. So it should be a excellent night inside Tiger Stadium. We got lots to get to. Chris Blair going to stop by here. We got a text into Glenn West over at Go247. See if he's got time to join us this morning. I want to talk about the big recruiting weekend coming up here for LSU as Bryce Underwood, the number one quarterback in the country, is going to be in for this weekend's game as Underwood going to make his announcement in January here of his junior season as they are rolling up at Bellevue in Michigan as they captured a state championship last year. They're looking like they're on their way again to get another one, and Underwood's going to be in town here this weekend. Look, he's made trips to a couple of schools, including Colorado and Michigan already. He said over the summer when he was down in Baton Rouge that he wanted to check out a game in Baton Rouge inside Tiger Stadium. So it's good to hear that Saturday night in Tiger Stadium is going to be a sellout. It should be the full experience for Underwood and a sideline full of recruits for LSU as they've got a couple of headliners coming in this weekend, including Underwood. So we will talk about that definitely with Shay tomorrow if we can't track down Big G before we get out of here at 9 o'clock. But Chris Blair will be here in his usual Thursday spot, 8:15. We'll talk to Blair about getting ready for another home game after 2 weeks off. And now here, 5 out of the last 6 games will be in Baton Rouge for LSU. So a nice advantage for the Tigers as they come back, as they come down the stretch here over the October-November slate of games. So we'll talk about all of that. Brian Kelly was speaking a little bit with the media yesterday for his regular cut-up of the weekly
LSU,
teleconference.
SEC teleconference,
Yeah,
yes.
weekly teleconference. He's usually the lead guy.
Yeah, he's in
each
pole
week.
position.
Yeah, he gets it. LSU's been there forever, man. I think Miles was there, Ogeron was there, and Kelly's there as well. As they're kind of the first up. And we'll talk. He had some interesting things to say about a lot going on at LSU, including an update on his center, Charles Turner, which I think that is one position that we are definitely going to monitor this week, because not only does Turner, how important he is to the whole operation, but look, I think if there is any strength to Auburn, and this is a down roster for Auburn's sake, Auburn standards, they still got some dudes up front. They still got some guys that LSU is going to have to block and going to have to, they're going to have to be ready to play. And if you don't have your center, that could be a huge story. So it's definitely something that we're watching this week. Before we get into the sound, remember our phone line is brought to you by our friends over at Southern Regional Medical Center, as Charlie Harvey and Jason Rymazon, the full crew over there, BJ, everybody, real doctors, real solutions. Check them out at Southern Regional Medical Center if you want to find out more. But let's get to some of what Kelly had to say yesterday inside of the is this from earlier this week, these press conference?
Yeah, these are all.
Oh, these are okay. My bad.
These are all cut-ups from
Monday?
Yes.
Okay.
And what we have from Kelly is just typed.
Yeah. Okay. Got you. He was talking about Jayden Daniels yesterday, and Jayden Daniels right now, I think, is starting to, as we've said, really this has been the week where Daniels has made the move nationally. I think.
Unless you're.
Well, I mean,
it's late.
Not everybody, but if
fill
Lloyd
some
is
programming.
alluding to Joel Klatt, who is a Fox Sports color analyst and is the color analyst for the Fox Big Noon game of the week, put out his top 5 quarterbacks and did not have Jayden Daniels
The top 6
in it. I mean, that's tough, and I think he knows
what he's doing.
What fan base is going to grab that and talk about it. And here we are at 7:10, 10 minutes in to an LSU based podcast talking about it. So job well done, Joel Klatt.
Score one for the home team.
But I mean, if you want to look at a real ranking out there, there's no way that you could include 6 quarterbacks in college football that are better than Jayden Daniels, if you're being realistic, right? I mean, if you're being unobjectively just let's just look at the body of work, the play, the numbers. Jayden Daniels, I don't think you could get past 2 without mentioning Jayden Daniels. I think that Jayden Daniels is a top 3 quarterback in the country right now, deserves all of the recognition, deserves all of the attention, and is the absolute most valuable player to LSU. Think about you take 5 off the field for LSU, and the jump, because look, this show I was asking the question the week of the Grambling game whether or not Daniels was the best guy for the job, because you were not seeing through one game of his senior year all of the progression that you were expected coming out of the summer, right? Like the summer, the build-up, the rave about Jayden Daniels was that he's going to have to take that next step. Like he had matured and grown in his junior season and really started to evolve into a competitive, formidable, a guy that you had to really be concerned about quarterback. The next level for him was being a game breaker, a guy that could turn the game upside down because of the talent around him and just taking shots down the field, just letting them fly, man, just letting those guys make plays. And it really was the Grambling game. I mean, if you remember back, Chris Hilton caught an early touchdown over the top that Jayden Daniels, put on his head. And you saw very early, okay, if he's going to throw it down the field, his accuracy is precise. And here we are at the midway mark, and he throws the ball down the field better than anybody in college football, or as good as anyone in college football. Caleb Williams throws a lethal deep ball, but Jayden Daniels can put it anywhere you want it. There was a segment last week, a play last week, where they had that inside fade to Malik Neighbors in the fourth quarter, and this was after the rib injury. And Daniels missed him by about a foot. He underthrew him a bit. And RG3, it was still kind of a play that you maybe could have gone to, but RG3 in the moment was like, man, this is a pretty good pass, but with the way that Jayden Daniels has been throwing the ball over the last 2 weeks, this is a huge miss, right? I mean, just kind of how accurate he consistently is at throwing the ball down the field has been, without question, the elevating point for him that has taken him into the discussion of he might be the best quarterback in the country. Like, realistically. I think that, when you look at the way that he plays and what he means to LSU, he is the true definition of a most valuable player. I mean, like that to me is the definition of a most valuable player. Take him off the team, and what do you have? And you're not, the wheels aren't off, but you're not in a situation where your defense is that bad and you have a chance to win every Saturday. He gives you a chance to win no matter how bad the defense is. LSU's quarterback gives them a shot to win every week. I mean, Trappy J says, holding off on all praise and gushing over JD5 until he sees it against a better defense this week will be telling. I even think that, he played well against Florida State in moments. There were some drops. There were some things that went against him. I mean, I don't think he played terrible.
No, it just gets lost in the loss.
Yeah. I mean, my point being is that he's done it against pretty good defenses.
And the last thing you remember is how the game ended, right?
Right.
It's not because of – that's just your lasting memory of what the Florida State game was. It's because of how it ended, the way that LSU kind of rolled over and, I guess, got their belly patted by Florida State to say, oh, good game, get you out of here. It's not even competitive anymore. And then it's almost, in that sense, the Grambling game works against him because then he goes and plays lights out against poor competition. And so it's, he can't do it in the big game, but he can do it against Grambling. Okay, raise exhibit C and D. Here's Ole Miss in a game that you had to score that way, and you were able to do it. That's no slight on him. That's on the defense. The fact that you're even competitive in that game is due to your offense. And then same thing at Missouri, where the defense kind of figures it out a little bit towards the back end, but you got nothing but, you got all three phases of Jayden Daniels. Then you get to see the heart and grit from somebody that's your MVP, your team leader, voted a team captain, all those things, and you see why it came to fruition against Missouri, where he had no business being in that ball game, and he's the one that leads you down the field twice when he's hurt.
Yeah, and look, I think the only thing that was missing against Florida State was the deep ball. Really,
Mm-hmm.
that was the thing that you were. I was most concerned coming out of that game that it hadn't. I just thought that it hadn't developed over the summer. That's what everybody was talking about. He's throwing the ball deep. And then you get to the first game and he wasn't throwing the ball deep. And now you get to this point, you're like, wow. He could be the best deep ball thrower in the game. Really. When you just think about the accuracy and the numbers of his guys.
And he hasn't really done it since his freshman year at Arizona State, so I can see why people are apprehensive about it. But now you have, 3 straight games where it doesn't seem like he's even thinking about it anymore. It is hit the back foot, let it fly. And I think a good reason for this is when you look at his freshman year at Arizona State, whenever he played well, he had Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk and Malik Neighbors aren't that dissimilar.
Right.
And I think once you establish that rapport with one guy, which he never could really get going with Kayshawn. Kayshawn's not really a deep ball route runner. He was a lot of underneath, give him the ball early and let him go. Malik, Brian Thomas, they can run that slot fade. They can go deep. They can run a non-route. That gives you a little bit more confidence when you have a little bit more of a rapport with your guys. So I can see why this has developed over, I guess, a year and a half.
He leads the SEC, ranks second nationally in total offense, leads the conference in total touchdowns and passing efficiency. He's thrown for 1,969 yards, 19 touchdowns compared to 2 interceptions. Add in 420 yards on the ground plus 4 touchdowns. He's averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. I mean, he is
the offense.
I mean, he is sizzling hot from a standpoint of just he can beat you in so many ways. He is a dual threat quarterback. I mean, the truest form of a dual threat quarterback that LSU's ever had. I mean, I can't think Herb Tyler was maybe a dual threat quarterback in the sense
throw
where,
it like that. But the offense was so different.
Yeah, it was different. You know, I mean, he was just very efficient in both, right? Like, I mean, you had to account for both of his, run and pass skill. But I mean, thinking
the white whale, Perilou.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, you just have such a limited. The sample size.
But if I just,
he
extrapolate that,
he didn't get you enough that he kind of gets you forget about it.
I know.
You know, what I mean,
won an SEC championship.
Yeah, but Daniels, I mean, he's 20 plus games in.
Right.
You know what I mean, this guy is.
I
really think that this season that he's putting together
is all time.
Oh, it's definitely all time. But I mean, like, it's like second best to Burrow.
Right.
I mean, like,
I wonder how it stacks up against Vince Young's last year at Texas, because it feels very similar as to how their play style. Obviously, Vince Young's a little bit taller, but they kind of play the same.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a pretty good comparison. I mean, for as much as they handle the ball during the game, I mean, like, that's the thing about Jayden Daniels that is really impressive is that, I mean, man, like 60% of the game, he's in control of it. I mean, like, whether he's run or passing, right? And who was it inside the chat? Jerry Rivera says he's pretty sure that Nuss can get the job done at quarterback. So am I. I think that Nussmeier would have no problem getting the job done in this offense. Do I believe that they would be the number one offense in the country? Maybe not. Maybe not. I think that Jayden Daniels' ability on the ground is just so much of a weapon that you have to count for. I mean, over 420 yards, 6 touchdowns, and averaging 5.6 yards per carry. I mean, that is a true threat. And then you sprinkle in Logan Diggs, you sprinkle in the 2 wideouts that are leading the country in yardage and touchdown catches. And, I mean, yeah, I believe Nussmeier could get the job done too, but is it clicking at this level? I mean, I believe that a lot of the gasoline that makes this thing run at this speed is number 5. I mean, I think he's truly developed into a very special quarterback in the sense of he can do it all. I mean, he's got the entire skill set.
And somebody who's finally getting their flowers, which I feel like we failed on this front, is Joe Sloan for the development. And if you look at what he's done in the past, this is kind of his bread and butter. So if you want to continue the conversation into next year and forego this year and look ahead to Garrett Nussmeier, you're going to see a lot of that development with Joe Sloan. He's been able to work with him for now, 2 years going into a year 3 with him as the starter next year.
Yeah,
you'll see that Joe Sloan effect again.
I was the other day we were talking. I was with a group and we were talking LSU football around somewhere, and Sloan's name came up. And to me, Sloan has got to be a top priority in the offseason because his name is going to be popping up on openings all over college football, whether it's going to be for offensive coordinators or for elevated positions other than quarterbacks coach like he is right now at LSU, because he is dominant on both of the areas that coaches look for. He is a really good recruiter, solid recruiter. I mean, think about the recruiting of the quarterback position over the last couple of seasons, and since Sloan has been on campus, I mean, you've seen the commitment, the direction, the interest really grow, and the intensity in the way that position is recruited is different than it ever has been, and that's Joe Sloan. I mean, that is him doing a lot of work. I mean, you've got Colin Hurley committed. You were able to get Ricky Collins committed. You were able to really get the number 1 quarterback in the country in Bryce Underwood on campus, who's going to be here this weekend. George McIntyre, who is the number 1 quarterback in the class of 2025, is high on LSU. So, I mean, like, there is the momentum at the quarterback spot is really, a lot of it has to do with Joe Sloan. You talk to coaches on staff at LSU, and there is a respect level for Sloan on what he does in recruiting. And then you go on the field and you see the development. Like, you see the commitment, the coaching style, the way that he's able to interact with his guys, the relationship that he has with, kind of player coach. You see it's a little tighter than other groups. I mean, it's a really good dynamic of how Sloan coaches his guys, and the way that, he really is able to keep LSU relevant on the recruiting trail. I would support full making him like a co-offensive coordinator or some type of coordinator title, so you could either bump him in pay or secure him to not let anybody else have him as well. I mean, like, that is key in all of this, is you're going to have to play a little defense, because people are taking notice. I mean, Daniels right now, if there was a Heisman ballot, I'm confident he's on it. Like, I mean, I think that there's enough discussion and there's enough push behind him now that there's no way they're going to leave him off of, national awards with the way that he's playing. So I think, people are going to start asking questions. How's that happening? Who's coaching him? Who's developing? And, Joe Sloan's name is going to pop up, because then you're going to look up and Ricky Collins is on campus. Colin Hurley's going to be on campus. Nussmeier's on campus. Bryce Underwood's paying attention to what's happening at LSU. If he commits in January, I mean, look out. A lot of people believe that Underwood's number one school is LSU. I know that's, like a lot of the Colin Simmons discussion kind of reminds me of Bryce Underwood, where I believe that Simmons loved LSU. I believe that he was high on LSU. I believe that LSU gave him a ton to think about, and probably a lot of the times during the process, he wanted to come to LSU. But if you're Texas, if you're Michigan, you can't let those guys get out of your state, right? I mean, I'm just saying, like, I hope LSU gets Bryce Underwood, and it would be a major, major coup if they could bring him down, commit him, and then sign him and get him on campus. I mean, that would be enormous for Sloan, Kelly, the entire staff. But the way that I think about these guys, I mean, this is Leonard Fournette in their state, right? I mean, think about the fallout when and if you miss those guys. And I think for,
especially the way Michigan's playing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're not a not a slouch.
Texas was, the brand's building. Michigan, the brand is back.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're selling like, hey, we got to have you. We're desperate for you just to make sure that we're
Bring the
relevant.
program back. Right.
You're like, hey, man.
Savior.
Jump aboard. I mean.
But if you're Bryce Underwood, you see this offense with Jayden Daniels, and you can probably relate a little. I mean, I think he's a more polished passer coming into college than Jayden Daniels was, but you see the offense, you go, I can do this. I can put up these type of numbers in the SEC where you're relevant.
No, I think that LSU's got a ton to recruit with. Like Dorian Moore right now. Like Texas is making a huge push at DK Moore.
They both were on campus for the Oklahoma well, not campus. They both were at the Oklahoma-Texas game.
Right.
Colin Simmons and
Caden Durham.
And
DK Moore.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
I mean, who, like, at the end of it is like, he's like next level good.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be number one player in America good when it's all said and done.
He's a sophomore right now, isn't he?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, is he a junior?
He's a junior.
Sophomore, yeah.
Sophomore or junior. Regardless, he's not coming out yet. But
I mean, he's cutting up Texas football.
And whoever was
dicing up Texas football.
Whoever was Colin, I sent it to you on Instagram. Whoever Colin Simmons' liaison was he's like an internet comedian, I guess, but he's been hanging around Colin Simmons a lot, and he mentions his LSU in the video because he's like hitting on one of the recruiting girls, and he's like, "Hey, you come back with me. This thing with Texas is done." He goes, "We get a lot of pressure from LSU," LSU's always in our ear.
Right.
Like, he's just hitting on this woman blatantly, but he's a comedian, so I guess it plays like for his brand. But Colin Simmons is right there with him. That's who he was talking about.
I mean, I've heard that the Colin Simmons thing is over.
I would imagine so. He was looking at leasing a Tesla.
In Austin?
Yeah, so I think that NIL money is already rolling in.
I mean, they're not letting him get out of there.
No.
There he is.
There he is. You better have a coffee. Walk of shame. Tail between his legs. Yeah, timeout.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back here. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Go Roof. Online, GEAUX, roof.com. Go Roof every single day. A new roof, a beautiful roof every single time over at Go Roof. Get in touch with them, 225-927-8300. Get a 2-year free workmanship guarantee with all new roof installations, whether it is commercial roofing, residential roofing, or you just need roofing repairs. You can get in touch with Go Roof today. A beautiful roof every single time. They got over 150 4-star ratings. Get in touch with them right now at Go Roof, GEAUX roof.com, GEAUX roof.com. 225-927-8300 is where you find them if you want to pick up the phone and call them today. But we always remind you, these guys can jump up on the roof, let you know what's going on, diagnose the problems. If you need to work with the insurance company, they'll do that directly to take the headaches out of it. Online, Go Roof, GEAUX roof.com. Roof's up with our friends over at Go Roof. A beautiful roof every single time. 225-927-8300 is the phone number. Stewie, the walk of shame.
Put himself in timeout over there.
We back. Right here on the Culotta Show.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go Mart and On the Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Let's be special. Let's be strong. Let's smell greatness from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
When law enforcement needed John Stefanski's help,
he stepped up and passed the toughest fentanyl trafficking law in America.
He's always had our back.
As Attorney General, I trust him.
I trust him. I trust John Stefanski to stand with law enforcement
and Louisiana families
to fight back against violent crime.
I'm with John Stefanski.
I'm with John Stefanski.
I'm with John.
I'm with John Stefanski.
I'm with John Stefanski for Attorney General.
I'm with John Stefanski for Attorney General.
A real passion of mine is ACL injuries, but not just really in the treatment of ACL injuries, but how do we keep them from happening? So right here at Ochsner, we're doing some research studies on ACL injury prevention. We're working with some of our high schools, and we're testing different functional tests for athletes. And we're trying to identify people that are at risk for ACL tears. We're trying to catch them before those ACLs happen. And then we want to intervene with some injury prevention programs. And that's something that, being part of Ochsner Andrews Institute, we can continue on that research. We can expand the impact of that research. We can bring that to more athletes in our community.
All right, welcome back here, Jordy Culotta Show. As always, we are built by RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com. Stewie is here, as Stewie came in a little late this morning.
The grounded
story,
coach.
Stewie. What happened? Dog ate my homework?
Dog ate my homework.
That's fine. You got the homework done. Just didn't turn it in. You got to be present to turn it in.
Overslept?
Overslept, underate. All the things BK would hate.
Yep. Didn't pick up the smoothie on time. You know.
Shoes are untied.
Shoes are untied.
Same shirt as yesterday.
Yep. Don't have my chain on.
Didn't have time.
That's where we started. Yeah, I didn't have time to put the chain on. Coach, sorry.
Throw the hat on.
Yeah.
Good to see you, buddy. All right, did anybody see that, Kansas really learned their lesson?
No.
Hey, after all those the violations.
I try to keep this out the document on purpose.
No way,
slap you on the wrist real quick.
Level 5 Vios.
Yes, indeed.
Bill Self is going to lose his job.
How many? 3 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
3 level 5s, couple of level 1s.
Get my weight out of Baton Rouge. He's a cheater. He's a cheater.
Well,
Pat Forde, Dick Vitale.
Mum is the word.
Swearing that this is the end of college basketball. That LSU and Will Wade were the only schools out there that were cheating and doing this. Then Kansas and Bill Self get popped. Uh-oh. Blue Bloods in trouble. What's going to happen now? Well, Kansas got 3-year probation, vacated 15 wins, and Bill Self is not going to miss a game.
Did you see Pat Forde's Wednesday column?
No, I did not.
I'll just give you a brief tidbit. I'll give you the lead, as they say. The Kansas infractions ruling ends the most overblown saga in college sports history, from the FBI to the IARP. The 6-year basketball corruption investigation was a complete fiasco.
Oh, Pat. You don't say, huh?
I see who butters your bread.
Old Patrick Forde.
This is his only end.
This is a means to his only end.
It was more penalizing for guys like Pat Forde, Dick Vitale, Tim Brando, the old loud crowd,
the old guard,
that cheating,
who for whatever reason I still will never understand why that crew who saw the 80s, hell, the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s,
John
the
Wooden.
2010s, they saw all of it. They saw all the cheating, from Patino running a prostitution ring at Louisville to John Wooden buddied up with the biggest real estate guy in Los Angeles. They saw all of it.
Get you that
Krzyzewski cheating at Duke.
UNLV having people dead in their trunk.
Roy Williams handing out fake classes in Chapel Hill. Like giving guys degrees on not even going to, they didn't even have to go to
about
school.
Enough.
Basketball university, all right?
Yeah.
This is North Carolina.
Prestigious.
Roy Williams.
The NCBA, North Carolina Basketball Association.
Yeah.
Phi Slamma Jamma in the 80s. I mean, like, paying them. Just dealing cash out. UNLV running with the mob.
Take this brown paper bag real quick.
But all that crew decided that
it's LSU.
In 2017,
Will Wade.
LSU invented cheating in college basketball, and that it was going to be the death of the sport. Was it the NCAA or the FBI that said, we have your playbook. Okay. So what are you going to do about it? We're going to give you 3 years probation. We're going to need 15 wins. Take down that Final Four banner, and that'll be all.
Shots.
Oh, that's it?
That's it? So after all that, after Pat Forde swearing that college basketball was going to crumble because of what Will Wade was doing in Baton Rouge, and Dick Vitale was screaming more belligerently into a microphone than he ever had about the cheating that was going on, yet didn't realize his best friend, Rick Pitino, was ever stepping out of line, and he was always protecting the game. That those guys went to die on the Hill. I don't even know if Brando exists anymore. His games that he calls us after 11 p.m. He's calling Pac-12 after 1 a.m. I mean, like, these guys went to die on the Hill of saving college basketball from all of this, and at the end of it, it was a big, just nothing burger. Zero. After all that mess, nothing comes of it. And I cannot believe still that anybody takes the NCAA seriously. I mean, like the Maason Smith story. I mean, to bring it back to football, the fact that Maason Smith was told by anybody at the NCAA that he couldn't play and you have to abide just blows my mind. I'm sure if you go up to the LSU office and you talk to the person that is, responsible for dealing with NCAA communication and, enacting their rules, they would be like, yeah, man, I mean, this has to happen. Get the hell out of here. And I'd be like, I get it. But I mean, how? Why? Why do you take these people serious? Like, if you were to play Maason Smith, what could they really do? Like, like stories like this don't just cut the legs of credibility out of this organization? How does anybody take them serious? I mean, this all started with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The FBI was crawling into college basketball. The NCAA still couldn't do anything about it. Yet they still have the power to come out and say, Maason Smith, you have to sit out a game. Yeah, right. Why? Because we said so. No. How about that? I mean, like, do something about it.
Take your banner down.
Okay.
Cool.
Vacate wins. You think anybody's going to forget about those 15 wins that Kansas has to vacate from 2018? Take down that Final Four banner from 2018. Cool. What do you want us to, like, it doesn't exist? Like, the NCAA thinks that they can play God up to a point where they can just erase your memory. Like the Reggie Bush stuff. Even like the LSU football stuff. Vacate those wins. All right. Odell and Jarvis were still here. I mean, you still saw them play. Take Darius Geis out of the record book. Okay. You can't mention the top 5 running backs in LSU history without mentioning Geis.
Still saw him break that record too.
I mean, I still remember him running up and down the field in College Station.
Still running.
Same against Ole Miss.
Arkansas.
Who?
I mean, it's like all of this stuff is a big waste of time. It's a big charade. It's a big just... I still don't, I cannot explain how credibility with guys like Pat Forde, Dick Vitale, even a hack like Brando can look at this stuff and put their reputation on the line for it. Like, this was all over college basketball cheating. These guys were on the front line of college basketball for 35, 40 years. Like, you think we've seen some stuff. Think about you listening to this out there. Like, you know the stories at UNLV. You know the stories at Duke. You know the stories at North Carolina. You know the stories at Louisville. Think about what those guys know. I mean, think about those guys like that have the real relationships that probably have been in the rooms. I mean, Vitale's probably sat there with Pitino and come up with the plan to cheat. This is how we're going to run a prostitution ring on a campus. I mean, like, they were running hookers out of a dorm.
I got the number for you.
And Dick Vitale told us on a radio show that he believes Pitino didn't know about it. Dick.
Pitino
buddy,
was the one in there every day.
What room do you think you're talking to, man? This isn't a room of kindergartners. Like, I mean, this is real life. I mean, come on. I mean, like, they built fake curriculums at North Carolina. I mean, this isn't surprising to any. They've got Zion Williamson's stepdad on text message with Kansas's assistant coach offering $250,000 for him. You want us to believe he went to Duke for free?
Not enough evidence, Coach.
7 months? Because of the brotherhood, right? That's why he went to Duke. Said, hey, Kansas, keep your $250,000. I'm going to go to Duke because I want to play for Coach K. I mean, and we still abide by the organization that says Maason Smith can't play one game, yet they can't police that stuff? I mean, this is a this is a joke. This is, like, literally, this is all turned out to be a sham, a joke, a fraud. There's nothing to it. Really and truly, it's exactly what we thought it was. Yeah, they are paying players. They've been doing it forever. And I guarantee you, before NIL, you start racking up the pay charts of the national championship squads, they're all making money.
That's where they lost it, right? NIL?
Yeah, I mean, it's over now.
Because that was their only their real job.
I can't believe that.
I thought
I can't believe anybody takes the NCAA serious. I can't believe they have the authority to come in still and say he can't play. Be like,
you're not my boss.
Or what?
Or
what? What if he does? Like, well, you'll vacate the win
in 10 years.
Sweet.
But the NCAA isn't even making the NIL rules anymore. I think it's the government now.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's where they lost their
they lost
whatever
their
power they thought that they had.
Right.
Because this was a long time coming. Everybody was starting to sniff out. I mean, LSU was the last one to the party.
Yeah.
And you had to make what is unfortunately one of your better hires.
Had to make an example.
One of your worst fires, right? And you can say that has to do with the football team. But now your football team's still getting punished, so it's hard to. I guess it could have gotten worse, but the veil of the threat, I guess, of your football team getting touched, you have to have a sacrificial lamb, and we'll wade.
No.
I guess that's what I'm saying. But what are you threatening me with?
Yeah, they could have pulled a Kansas and just not did anything.
That's what I'm saying. So
look at Kansas.
You just look at it. And say, I don't care what you do. We're not going to listen to anything that you do.
Do you, bro?
Right. We're bigger than this.
Yeah.
You're not going to take LSU out of college football. You're not going to take them out of college. Still going to get scheduled.
They were probably trying to give them the death penalty, though.
It's okay.
They probably threatened the death penalty.
I guess the postseason ban is
smoke and mirrors.
But they're not even in charge of the postseason.
Well, they run the tournament
for college basketball. I'm talking about for football.
Yeah, they don't have the college football playoff.
That's what I'm saying. Like in football, I would be like, piss off. Like, get out of here. You know, like
this isn't the BCS, you bums.
I mean, like, what?
I miss it.
It just, I can't
simulate that thing.
How the NCAA is still standing.
It's not though. It should. I mean, it's still.
It is though.
It's a building.
They abided by Maason Smith having to sit out.
We go to work every day.
I mean, like that to me, I couldn't believe that. I could not believe that the NCAA first off, like, has the authority to show up and do that, right? Like, to me, they feel like the dude at the party that shows up like 3 hours late, and you're like,
and throws up immediately.
Yeah,
like,
who
it's
let
over.
This guy in? Like, it's over, man. Like, you're done.
Do you remember what you did last time you were here? Like, get him out.
I just
NCAA does not have a table at this party.
3-year probation.
Oh, of what?
15-year 15 wins vacated.
15?
Like, 15 wins.
Oh.
Take down the 2008 Final Four banner.
2008? Wow.
No, 18.
Oh, either way. We just won it 2 years ago.
Right.
Really worried.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
we'll get another one because we've been cheating this entire time.
They won it in 2022 or 2020? No, not 2022. They won it in
2021.
Yeah. So
that was not touched. Don't
right. You ain't making me take the most recent one down. So who gives?
Yeah,
a
not
fuck?
a natty.
Sorry. Thank you. Take the Final Four down.
I mean,
burn it. Fuck. We don't
keep
care.
it.
I just can't believe that the NCAA exists. I really can't. It baffles me
Still
that they are
cutting
still
checks,
in
coach.
business.
Somebody has to have it.
They are a cartel.
That TV deal is still in place.
Uh-huh.
They still running that commercial during college football games. Like,
you'll go in pro at so many other things than sports.
Like, bro, these people don't give a fuck.
No, I mean they are. I'm telling you, they are a cartel, man.
Somebody for
they
the
are the
NC
biggest.
yes.
They're one of the biggest criminal organizations that exist.
Yeah,
they're a cartel
right
with
in
no
front of your face,
guns.
I'm telling you,
right?
yes.
Getting paid to do nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, just suits,
coffee,
coffee, loafers.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
see
what
that
do they
game last
talk
night,
about?
Bob?
Like, what? They're probably like, can you believe this?
Pocket squares.
Like, we just
It's
we just sit in this
we
building
just-
all day. And we get paid, and like, you don't like LSU? Sweet. Why don't we rule their defensive tackle out for the opener?
Yeah. Who can we get?
Can we do that?
Yeah,
I don't know. We can try.
Well, I have.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
I just put a
press release out and see what happens.
Is it like the one guy in the corner was like, he was out all last year with an injury.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck, Bob. Back up.
This is his reclamation
Hey, Bob,
project.
we'll talk to you when we need you.
Yeah.
Keep reading the legal books.
Put that gag back in your mouth.
Speak when spoken to.
Oh,
I mean, like,
it's a nice leather jacket.
It's like
Bob and Bill in the corner.
it's probably like Wolf on Wall Street in that office.
Yeah.
Got the midget
Yeah,
running
right.
into the.
Think about the day that Emmert was leaving, bro.
Right.
You know,
I'm not
they're
gonna leave
probably
him.
like celebrating, like Gordon was coming back, like
Right.
Gecko was coming back. I'm coming back.
Like just having a blast.
The show goes on.
Mason Smith is
Yeah. John Emery, we're coming for you next.
Emery out 2 games on academics again. Yeah!
Emery again, run it back.
Get him, Bob! Get him!
We're gonna get Emery for 2 games. What do you do? We don't know.
What about Bama? Hell no! Don't touch him.
Nick's here. Bill, I see you.
The Bama safety guy caught with 2 pounds of weed. Like
Bring
a
him
gun.
over here.
It's like keep him in.
I hope
Who can we send down there to take it?
bring it up here.
Bob, go. Hurry up.
Off the leash.
Bob, take the jet to Tuscaloosa. Cover for Saban. He's
Broker
got a
a
big one
deal.
this Saturday. Make sure his safety starts.
Joel Cloud, you speak what's spoken
Bob
to.
Wilson picked up for a quarter of weed outside Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, doesn't know what to do with it.
NCAA representative.
Bob.
Oh God! I,
mean,
hope
how
that's
do
what
they
they're doing.
exist,
I hope they're having a blast.
I do too.
Oh, God.
Like
I
I
do
hope
too.
somebody there has
I
all
can't
of
wait
the.
to. I hope somebody's like doing a documentary. I hope somebody's on the inside. I hope that they have somebody that speaks. I hope that somebody comes out finally. And it's just like, man, we've been duping everybody for like 60 years, 70 years. I mean, like nobody's really talked about getting a piece of the money until like the last 5 years. They've been raking in billions.
It's a nonprofit.
Billions on the sweat
We aren't profiting off these young men.
of just labor while they don't pay anything out.
It's
just,
501c3 coach.
It is. It is.
And
it
then
is
once
one
that-
of the biggest criminal organizations that exist.
Once that tax status came up, oh, y'all can have NIL. Hold on, whoa.
What do you want to do? Is this?
We're nonprofit. Because they can make so much money just off the tournament alone that they don't have to do anything
They
else.
just want to keep the model as is.
Yeah, yes. Oh,
Like,
God.
Do not mess with us.
Don't mess with the model.
Please don't mess with us. I mean, the Supreme Court was like, yo, Emmer, hey, man, this isn't legal in any country.
This is
You know what I mean?
Colombia.
Like, this is illegal in third world countries, man.
El Chapo is jealous.
I mean, Emmer was like, can I just
Get out of
leave?
here.
Can I just leave?
You got your
Sam Montgomery is hurt.
I want my pound of flesh.
I'm high right now.
Yeah. Ebert was just, oh, God, I got to go to the principal's office. Finally, it's time.
It's unbelievable, man.
It's actually it's almost a discredit to the Supreme Court for it taking this long.
Yeah.
Like, how did y'all not know?
What's going on with this Trey As Green story?
What basketball?
Yeah.
I think like the LHSA is like.
Oh,
trying to keep
speaking
him
of
out
the
playing
devil.
basketball. Yeah, the lesser of two evils.
If you wanted a mole, I was working there for a year.
That place is. It
feels very
crawling with-
NCAA-ish.
Yeah.
Oh, I was in charge of the transfer paperwork.
Even though they've got good people up there.
Yeah,
man.
they
I
do.
don't understand, but the principals run it.
Yeah, that's
right?
what it is.
Oh,
It's
they're-
like-
they're-
'Cause
yeah.
like the presidents of universities run the NCAA, right?
It's like I'm guessing when he transferred, East Feliciana was probably like trying to block the transfer, or when a kid transfers high schools,
Sure.
the school has to send the paperwork over. All the some schools don't like to send the paperwork over.
I'm sure that was a big hit to East Feliciana.
And I'm sure that this is
Right.
what this is. We didn't send the paperwork over.
So how is he eligible for
I
football?
don't get that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an NCAA thing.
Yeah, he can only play football this year.
Well, thank God he was able to. I mean, he jumped up how many spots? in the
100.
Yeah.
He's killing it.
Like, I mean, I heard the national director from On 3 the other day say that he's the top player in Louisiana.
Oh, for sure. I would say he's the top player in Louisiana. I haven't seen much from Dominique McKinley.
Yeah, he's falling a little bit.
Yeah, I've watched games of him, and he.
To the contrary, Gabe Relaford was on the rise.
Ugh.
And Gabe Relaford, there's rumors that he could be back this weekend.
Oh, come on home, old Gabe.
So the deal on Relaford, and to me, Relaford right now is he would be the top player on the board if, in talking to some people at LSU, like they're going after him.
They showed him the old practice.
Oh God.
Scared him off, man.
But he was the deal with Relaford is LSU was his dream school growing up, and
If I hear that,
it is it's unbelievable. It's crazy how many guys that you come to find out. I mean, Cam Robinson grew up with a poster of Glenn Dorsey on his wall his whole life. Ends up a 4-year starting tackle at Bama.
she was desperate for offensive line.
Oh my God, Les Miles was an offensive line coach. But Relaford, in a day and time when you need defensive tackles, he's up at Evangel, and he's a top 3 player in the state right now. I think that he's ranked number 4 by On 3, and he's making a push here as the close of the senior season comes up. But before he committed to Texas A&M, and he committed to A&M over the summer, and he committed to A&M because they offered him first, like that was the big deal, and they really kind of showed a lot of attention, a lot of love. Guys like Maason Smith, the recruiting Maason Smith, who's over at Texas A&M right now, really has a clear understanding of the state, knows the board, and has an idea of how to recruit Louisiana. Was very instrumental in that. But one thing that has started a trend in talking and listening to some of the things around recruiting is that Relaford is kind of going back to giving LSU its due time and doing the due diligence on LSU. I think that he was a little annoyed that LSU wasn't on him early, but now LSU has really picked up the pace and put their foot on the gas pedal and said, "Look, Relaford, you mean this? You mean this much to us?" And I think that's starting to make a little bit of an impact. He came down to LSU a couple of weeks ago on the visit. He was putting out the pictures, did the thing. The week right after that, he was at A&M, saying that he was solid committed to A&M. But some people that are close to Relaford said that his mom kind of got in his ear and said, "Hey, look, before you committed to A&M, you always said that LSU was your dream school. That's where you wanted to end up. Give those coaches the time, the respect that it needs, and you don't want to regret anything. Like, you don't want to go through this process and not at least have learned about what LSU has to offer."
Shout out to Mama Rutherford.
Shout out to Mama.
Always the moms, man.
Who you think's working the mom?
Uncle Frank.
Who you think's working the mom?
Uncle Frank.
Right? So Frank knows who is the champion, is what they call in recruiting, to really make sure that when Frank Wilson is not there, that the message is still being communicated to her son, Gabe Relaford, through what LSU is selling her on, man, is what LSU is pitching her on. LSU is doing, or Frank Wilson is doing what he does best. And I believe Relaford is going to be in town this weekend. I know Bryce Underwood is flying in Saturday morning after his game Friday night. Relaford is a guy that hopefully he can
stay home.
Yeah, this would be huge, man.
He's a stud.
This would be huge. They need defensive tackles, obviously. He's been on a fast rise here in his senior season as becoming a top 3 player in the state. I was telling you about the Hulu documentary series, the docuseries, God, Faith, and Football. God, Family, and Football, which is about the Evangel Christian Academy up in Shreveport that you can watch on Hulu. And this is last year's team, and you can see Relaford really kind of like coming into it. Like, I mean, early on in the season, he's a young junior that really on the scene, had a pretty good sophomore season, and then he just starts to make plays, man. And you can see his confidence growing. You can see his physical shape changing. I believe that Relaford, they need to get him, man. They need to get him first off for just the optics of defensive linemen in the state of Louisiana. They need to get him most of all because they need that position immediately filled. And, he's a top player in the state, man. You got to get those guys.
I'm over here rewatching LSU Auburn 2018. Why did Ed Orgeron call a jump pass on a punt?
It almost worked.
It almost worked.
It did almost work.
It was open.
It actually worked against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They ran it against Bama.
It was just a terrible
They almost
throw.
scored.
It was just a bad throw.
Who did he throw it to in Bama? I think it was a linebacker.
Auburn was Foster Moreau, but I don't know who it was.
Is that when he
Bama.
caught it and fell backwards?
No, it was. It might have been.
It
might have been Torrey Carter.
Because if he catches it, like
he
scores.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
remember who it was
That's
though.
Right. That's right. I think Jack Besh ended up scoring.
Yep.
On that.
Don't hate the jump pass. It's so disjointed. The one at Auburn is so
Wide
bad.
open.
It was wide open.
He panicked. He just panicked.
Throw.
Yeah,
like the throw was awful.
Who's the punter?
Von Rosenberg.
He's a quarterback.
I know.
He didn't have to jump. Just let him throw it.
The pitcher.
The pitcher.
6'6",
and he's 30. Keep your composure.
Old man, grandpa.
Just got excited. Been watching that Tebow tape.
Shit himself.
Watch this play. Watch this play. Watch this play. This is how we do it.
Remember, Hughes Mechanical bringing you into the show every day here. HughesMechanical.net online. If you're looking for HVAC service, they can help you out in South Louisiana. They're headquartered over in Zachary, but they're everywhere. They're in Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, all the surrounding areas. Residential and commercial HVAC services. 225-658-2147. Online at HughesMechanical.net. They're a trusted Daikin dealer over at Hughes, located in Zachary, as we said, one of the most trusted and experienced professionals that you can find in South Louisiana. They work the North Shore area. They work New Orleans. They work Baton Rouge. They work Lafayette, everywhere around it. HughesMechanical.net. Second hour of the show coming back with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show, built by R&B.
Jonathan Jones.
If you're in the market for a mortgage lender, you need to start with Doug Bickley and his team. Bickley has built a crew with over 50 years of combined lending experience. They've been in business for over 20 years, and they love helping their clients achieve the American dream of home ownership. They're also key with working in real estate agents and helping their clients getting same-day pre-approval. They average about one buyer a day getting them in a home. If you want to get in touch with Doug and his crew, it's easy. Call them 225-214-5154. 225-214-5154. Go see the Bickley team today. They're located on the corner of Coursey Boulevard and Sherwood Forest right here in Baton Rouge.
What's up?
What's happening?
Chilling with a couple of cool guys. You?
Chilling and watching some tube. Hold on. Did you do it? Hold on. Did you do it?
Roof's up.
Hold on.
Roof's up?
Roof's up!
Roof's up!
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
You can't put the cart before the horse. That'd be like, will you marry me?
Do I know you?
Never sign a contract with a roofer before he gets on your roof. Call Go Roof instead. We offer a free, no-obligation inspection. A beautiful roof every shingle time. Bobby, goes in the front.
Roof, roof, Go Roof. Offensive player of the game from LSU, Joe Burrow.
Football is life. Football is Joe Burrow.
Click Here Digital, the home of the Jordy Culotta Show. Online at clickheredigital.com. If you're looking to set Google ads, set social media campaigns, learn about SEO, display video, or even creative, Click Here Digital has the answer for you. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com.
Well, the Auctioner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together two great names, the Andrews name and the Auctioner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Auctioners to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Auctioner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
Malik Neighbors, a wide receiver.
Favorite pregame meal?
Popeyes.
What would winning a national championship mean to you?
It would mean a lot to me because, we've seen a lot of the greats come through here, won their national championship, got, remembered for life.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Probably fly. That or telekinesis.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Do it wrong, do it long. Do it right, do it light.
Kyra Lacey, wide receiver, number 2.
Do you have any nicknames?
K2.
What's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Stay humble.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Fly. I be flying in my dreams.
What's been the highlight of your partnership with us?
The bike giveaway was one of the best things. I was pretty excited about that one. Texas A&M, I just got a point to prove because last year I dropped 2 balls I should have caught. I'm coming for them for real.
That's it. Thank you, man.
My name is Harold Perkins, and I play linebacker.
What's your favorite pre-game meal or snack?
Pasta with a little steak, something that's not too heavy.
Any superstitions or pre-game rituals?
I pray a lot. Just be me and God before the game. Perky worky. I like when they call me the percolator. I like that.
If anyone gets in a wreck, who should they call?
Gore.
Where were you born at, Greg?
Hattiesburg, Mississippi. But I claim 5 food because I was raised there my whole life. Favorite type of food is spaghetti. But you need to try spaghetti with some corn on the side. Funniest person, I'd probably get Kyron Lacey. He be having me joked out every time I talk to him.
Who's the most athletic?
You know, besides myself, Perk or Malik. Future self, just take one day at a time, one step at a time. If you're doing something, just be where your feet are. Make sure you give 100% effort.
What is something on your bucket list?
Win a Super Bowl. That's definitely on my bucket list.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Time traveling.
Who's the fastest on the team?
Like in a short span, I would say quick trigger, I'm taking Perk. One thing most people don't know about me, probably that I moved 12 times growing up, 12 different states.
Who's the most savage on the team?
Maason Smith. Maason Smith, definitely.
And who gets it done?
Gordon.
Thank you, man. That's great.
Emory Jones, right tackle.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Got it from my mom, and she just told me, always keep your head on the swivel.
Favorite subject?
Math, easy. I kind of keep it light. Give me some type of red beans or something like that. Throw a little cornbread on the side.
Light with red beans.
Yeah, just a little bit. I am superstitious. I got some PSDs that's purple and yellow and white. I wear them every game. I feel like they my lucky draws, and you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep doing it.
Head health is incredibly important for our student athletes. One of the best ways we're trying to address concussions is on the front end. We're trying to prevent these before they happen. And a big part of that is speaking to the athletes, letting them know what to expect. Okay, speaking to the parents, what to look out for, talking to the coaches so they know the vital importance. Some of the big things we're looking for with a concussion, which is, a traumatic brain injury, is one, was there a mechanism? Was there an injury that took place that could lead to this? Often a direct blow to the head, a head-to-head hit. If someone's showing signs of concussion, our first step is always to remove them from activity, get them to a place where there's less stimuli, where we can really just sit down and get a feel for the athlete, what they're feeling. We're looking for headache, we're looking for dizziness, any sign that coordination is off, that something's just not right. Get a good evaluation of them to understand what's going on. It's not worth the risk that may be there to kind of ignore it, because there are very serious consequences if we don't treat a concussion properly.
Welcome back here, second hour of the Jordy Culotta Show, as always, live here on Click Here Digital's campus. Click Here Digital every single day, part of the team, man. Awesome over here on Interline Avenue in between Drusilla and Airline. Online at clickheredigital.com if you want to find out what we can offer, but anything from Google ads to social media ads to helping you with social media management or a content team. If you need search engine optimization, if you need some help with SEO, we can help you over at Click Here Digital. If you want to direct contact, hit me up, Jordy at clickheredigital.com. Shay did a pretty good write-up over at Bayou at Bengal Tiger at on3.com, which was tracking the freshmen throughout the first part of the season. And obviously LSU had 24 players in last season's top 5 recruiting class. 18 of the 24 signees have taken the field as true freshmen. So that's 75% of the class has played, including guys like Whit Weeks, who has started 3 games. Ashton Stamp started against Ole Miss. Mac Markway made his first start of the year versus Mississippi State earlier this season, to guys like Caleb Jackson, who's played in every game this season. So is guys like Jackson McGowan, and even Jackson Howard has played a lot. Early on, he did in the early part of the season. Deshaun Walmack has seen his snap count really pick up over the last couple of weeks, and pretty much all of the DBs outside of Kylan Jackson, as we talked a little bit about Jackson, and Coach Kelly was asked about him earlier this week. He just said he's not ready yet. Obviously, he was dealing with some off-season injuries that he's trying to get over, and really kind of getting him up to speed of being a college football player. But we mentioned Stamp starting. Jeremiah Hughes has played in every game. Now, these have pretty much been special teams reps. Guys like Ryan Yates has played in the defensive backfield, and Javion Taviano has played a lot of special teams as well. We did see Jaylen Brown make his season debut on Saturday. He played 2 snaps versus Missouri, and they all came inside of the last minute. I did not recognize that in the game, and I watched the game a couple of times.
I didn't notice Jaylen Brown was in the game.
I didn't see that. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he is the next guy up. I don't know if they needed a guy off the bench to step in there and play. I don't know really what the scenario was, but it is, I guess, encouraging to see, a new face, new name getting out there and getting some reps because, as we said earlier this week, I think, a third wide receiver may be necessary here down the stretch to develop. I mean, I don't believe anybody can guard Thomas and Neighbors. I think that their life is going to become a little bit more difficult than it has been through the first stretch. I mean, with as much film as that is out there now, you can't let number 8 and 11, just beat you. I mean, you're going to have a plan against them. I don't know if it'll work, but, I think LSU will start seeing some more exotic, crazy looks on defense of just, what people can find that can work for them against LSU. But another guy stepping up as a pass catcher, I think, is going to be a need at some point for LSU here during the season. I don't know if that guy can be Mason Taylor. I think Mason Taylor is obviously great in his own right, but if he's counted on almost like a wideout as far as his numbers go, I think it hurts who he is. I think his effectiveness is in the red zone, in third down situations, in specialty type spots where he can help you, where, you got a third wide receiver to take pressure off of Thomas, Neighbors, and now you've got a third pass catcher where you can keep the special, unique skill set that Mason Taylor has intact. Man, that's one more weapon to a loaded artillery room that LSU has, currently when you just talk about who they are right now. So, I didn't have Jaylen Brown as the first freshman off the bench at wide receiver, but I know all four of them can play. When you talk about Shelton Sampson and Kyle Parker and Jaylen Brown and Kai Prean, all four of those guys can play.
Jaylen Brown is just more of a slot.
That's right. Yeah, Brown is a slot player.
Elite speed.
And Parker and Simpson played in the first 2 games, or excuse me, Parker and Sampson played in the first 2 games and haven't played since. Prean hadn't logged a snap all year, and Jaylen Brown made his debut on Saturday versus Missouri. So, you're starting to see some of those third-year guys, or some of those first-year guys maybe starting to make a move here. So we'll see. I mean, it's interesting because that is a position on a loaded offense, and an offense that you can't really complain about that they may be missing. Is just that dependable third pass catcher. I thought that was the part of the 2019 offense that really made it kind of that extra. I mean, that was kind of like the sauce on top, right? I mean, that was just kind of like you got everything, but how about a third wide receiver like Terrace Marshall? You know what I mean? Like they could just. Round pick. I mean, is just. He led the team in touchdowns before he got hurt. I mean, and that's ideally how that's supposed to work, right? I mean, your third wide receiver is the guy that usually in situations that are touchdown opportunities are either going to be wide open or they're going to have the best chance to make the play because all of the attention is on Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. All the attention's on Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. So who can be that guy that steps in and starts to catch those passes? I mean, I would have booked on Shelton Sampson. He was the one that I thought was having the best camp. Obviously, he had to drop against Grambling.
I was going to say, he missed his opportunity there early.
He did. But
I think that kind of, I don't know. It might have killed his confidence.
We can't throw him in jail there, right? I mean, like that's a freshman moment, right? I mean, that was a big spot.
It was.
For him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's nervous.
So, I mean, I don't want to judge him on that one.
Yeah, me neither. But I'm just saying, like, you know
how coaches are.
Absolutely.
We see how the coaching thing is going.
No, I get it.
Make a mistake, you probably won't play that position again. Malik Neighbors.
I'm still holding out hope for Aaron Anderson.
Same.
One more opportunity here where he seems like you're penciled in as the third guy.
He's still a freshman, man.
Probably still a freshman, but I just like to see it. It started to look like it was coming together a little bit, and then obviously the injury happens, but you saw flashes, and that's all I need. Just keep me diving deep. If I see something shiny, I'm going to look at it.
Keep me close.
Yes. Aaron Anderson, bust one.
Yeah. Maybe this might be the week. Chris Blair is here, voice of the Tigers. We talk to him next. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Katie's Restaurant. Katie's online at katie'sinmidcity.com. katie'sinmidcity.com is where you can find him online, is where you can find the restaurant online, and you can find him on Iberville Street, right in the heart of Mid-City in New Orleans. If you want to stop in and see him on Sundays, they've got new Sunday hours, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and they've got new televisions installed so you won't miss a play. Pre-game, post-game, if you want to watch in-game, they'll have all of that for you over at Katie's. katie'sinmidcity.com, katie'sinmidcity.com. Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers. Next, we come back here on the Jordy Culotta Show from Click Here Digital.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. Edward Jones financial advisor Daniel Newman can help. He'll work with you on an investment strategy for long-term results. Edward Jones can give you the tools and knowledge for a steady approach to hitting your financial targets. Get started today by calling Daniel Newman at 225-261-8262, 225-261-8262. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Belmont Stakes Race Training. I'm sticking to roofing.
Roof, roof, go roof.
Phil's Oyster Bar, a staple of South Louisiana since 1945, located in Southdown Shopping Center and online at philsoysterbar.com. If you log online, you can learn about the private party schedule, the catering menu, and even order online. Daily lunch specials Monday through Friday. Learn about the history when Gus Piazza took it over in the early 70s, made it an absolute stop-in for everyone who came through Baton Rouge, and now Anthony, his son, carrying on the tradition. Phil's Oyster Bar, Southdown Shopping Center, and online, philsoysterbar.com.
All right, buddy. Make it a good shot. Oh, yeah. Sticking the roofing.
For a hole in your roof, for a whole new roof, go roof. Roof, roof, go roof.
As primary care sports physicians, the things we think about the most with our athletes from a medical standpoint usually involves the head, the climate, and the heart. We have to be very careful about participating in sports when it is safe, but also having the proper equipment to take care of them if we are worried about the athletes. So here in Louisiana, obviously heat can be a big problem. Things that I think about as a primary care sports medicine physician is that it's safe enough for our athletes to participate. And there are certain regulations that we follow here at Ochsner, but throughout the entire state, to make sure it is safe for our athletes to participate. When we think about concussion, we have to really recognize those symptoms from the forefront, and that becomes a cultural issue as well. As for the heart, screening exams are by far the most important thing that we can think about. We go through a series of questions, but also listen to the athlete's heart and ask about family history and other symptoms they may have had in the past. By doing so, we can identify and potentially screen out athletes to make sure that they are safe to participate in the sports that they love to do.
We ain't got no football story. All right, welcome back here. Jordy Culotta Show as always. We are built by RMB Builders live on the campus of Click Here Digital every single day. Check out Click Here Digital online at clickheredigital.com. Full service marketing plans for you, digital marketing plans for you, Google ads, Facebook, social media ads, SEO. Learn about it all. Jordy at clickheredigital.com. Chris Blair's the voice of the Tigers. He's with us every single Thursday of the week, talking LSU and getting ready for the week ahead. We recap it. It's all compliments of our friends over at Carriages. Go see Will and the crew as CB, the voice, sporting a nice little
throwback,
little zip up there, a little half zip. Looks good with the 80s
Yeah.
logo. That's kind of the Shaq, Chris Jackson logo with the LSU bold and the Tigers in script going across. But good to see you, man. How are you?
I'm good. I was just watching here in the command center. Coach Brian Kelly there talking to ESPN after the win on Saturday at Missouri, which, we talked about it last week. I mean, you get these 2 weeks on the road and couldn't get it done against Ole Miss. It almost became imperative. I don't like using the phrase must win, but, to keep everything in front of you. That's kind of what it was on the road at Missouri. And, again, it was a top 25 matchup. Missouri was undefeated, and you get out of there with a win. I don't know that the 10-point differential was indicative of how close that game was, but, hey, as I joked with Coach after the Arkansas game, 49 is more than 39, so it's a W.
It looked like a pretty crazy atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, it was it was electric prior to the start of the game. It's interesting because as we were sitting in the booth, which, by the way, we don't go up there often. I'm good with not going up there often. It is glass on all sides. The sun comes up right in front of you, especially that time of day. And, of course, we left the hotel. It was like 40 degrees when we pulled out at like 8 o'clock.
Quarter zip season.
So, yeah, we're all bundled up. We get into that booth, bro. It's like 150 degrees. It's like a greenhouse. Everybody's stripping down in there. And we've got windows to our left and right. And, like, all the press members are looking at us like, what are those guys doing? It was
sleeve rolled up.
Yeah.
Sweating.
I mean, it was something. We switched the chairs out with the coaches. Coaches had chairs that were like regular office chairs, and you couldn't see over the table. They had us, the big high stools, and our knees were like a foot above the table we were working on.
Man,
so we just
Missouri
went.
Sounds like a 5A school.
Yeah, I mean it was. You're not that far off. But anyway, no, they were excited. The place was packed. But it was interesting to watch because literally, I don't know how to describe it. It was like, when they were doing great, which to start the game, they went 3 times down the field and scored, the place was pretty raucous. But literally, unlike even in Starkville, like it took a while. Like LSU played so well that the bells kept ringing, until maybe the start of the third quarter. They were still in it. But whenever LSU would score, when they got that first score, I mean, the place would go like completely silent. And we were cutting up highlights earlier this week. And there were times early in that game where LSU had success. Harold Perkins' interception, which was huge, I think, from a momentum standpoint. The early touchdowns, like it sounded like nobody was there. Wow. Like it went from very boisterous to like when LSU did anything good, it just everybody was sitting on their hands.
Here we go.
So I mean, that was again they were there and they were they were fired up to support their team. It just was interesting to me that when even early in the game when things didn't go well, it got very quiet there.
Jayden Daniels again. I mean, just another chapter to the book here of 2023 of his greatness. I mean,
yeah, I was telling Michael Bonnet, Michael put out a tweet because everybody's comparing, as they should, this offense to 2019. I think we're still the jury's still out. I mean, you're talking about a team that went 15-0 and pretty much ran at high cylinders, all cylinders. Except Auburn, who gave them, I think, their biggest test, honestly, of the year. Not counting that Alabama game, which was a slugfest, of course, but they scored a lot of points is what I'm saying. So, I mean, you still got a ways to go to say, is this, a similar offense to 2019? I mean, again, they went 15-0, played 15 games, and
beat everybody.
But they're well on their way, put it that way. And then Jayden Daniels, the numbers that Michael put in the tweet about comparing through 6 games, what Jayden done and what Joe's done. And again, I think most of the opposing coaches and defensive coordinators would say, hey, look, we don't want to face Joe Burrow, and we didn't want to face him in 2019. But it is slightly a different animal with Jayden Daniels because, Burrow was good for, occasionally catching you napping and pulling and running for 15, 20, 30 yards. I mean, Jayden Daniels is, the touchdown from 35 yards out. I mean, even dumb old radio guy in the booth was like, guys are going empty set, 5 wide. I think Jayden's going to run because they had done it successfully 2 prior times.
Right.
But I think, again, Missouri, I think, was so afraid of Neighbors and what Thomas had already done and what Malik had already done that they were still willing to kind of play off the line of scrimmage, and that just led right in. So Jayden, my point is a guy that they will design a run for. His accuracy has improved so well. I mean, the throw he made to Thomas where he got 4 yards behind the defense and it just landed in his lap in the end zone was a thing of beauty.
The Neighbors crosser.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, that thing was a seed.
I mean, and to throw that distance, I mean, again, he was running in that direction, but that still was a long throw.
It was.
But the last part of Jayden is that, again, because of his accuracy. But similar to Joe, I saw in 2019 where defenses did pretty much textbook what you had to do in a given play to get a stop or at least not get a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
And Jayden's ability to either throw on the run or when a play breaks down, extend the play and then eventually run and get a big play is what makes him, I think, a little bit different. And, he's fun to watch. But shout out to Logan Diggs on that pass pro on that play to Malik Neighbors because they were actually trying to get to Jayden, and Logan stood in there and took that first blitzer, and that gave him the time he needed to throw that bullet out to Malik.
That's what I love most about Logan Diggs. You never have to take him off the field. He's a true 3-down back.
That's what we're looking at now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's RB1. I mean, 3 straight 100-yard rushing games and doing the little things that, like pass protection and, just being where you need to be. And I think that's why he's kind of taken over that role. Still nice to have a couple of guys in situations if you want to change things up. But I think he's your mainstay running back now.
Some people call me crazy, but I think that at some point they may need a third wide receiver to step up on this team. Do you agree with that? Do you see? I saw Jaylen Brown got a couple of reps at the end of the game last week. I don't know if that means anything, but do you think that they get a third wide receiver out of this group here? I know Lacey's there.
Yeah, I mean, I thought for a quick second there that Chris Hilton was going to kind of become that guy. And, of course, now he's been hampered by injury once again, which is unfortunate. But he would have been the leader in the clubhouse for that position, 2 to 3 weeks ago. And you're right, Kyron Lacey is there, and I think he plays a pivotal role. I was interested listening to Maason Taylor this week during the media sessions, and he was talking about, Malik's going out doing his thing, Brian Thomas is doing his thing. And right now they can't be stopped. Mm-hmm. But he said, I like the position I'm in where if they decide to bracket coverage a guy or they really sell out to take 1 or 2 of those guys out of the mix, that opens up an avenue for me to really eat a lot. Mm-hmm. And, I think, again, not a traditional wide receiver, but my guess is Jayden Daniels has a lot of faith in his sophomore tight end. And, when I look at the 2019 team, and you talked about it earlier, I mean, you're looking at Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall, Thaddeus Moss was key,
even Clyde
and Clyde out of the backfield. So again, it truly is apples to oranges trying to compare those two teams. But that to me was why LSU was just so dominant. Is who do you want to take away, and then who's going to show out on this given game because they had so many options. But I think Maason Taylor's the guy that could really benefit and could help the team. If, in fact, which I haven't seen it yet, if, in fact, somebody's able to kind of slow those guys down.
I agree. Opportunistic seems to be the word on defense. And last week I think they had opportunities and they made the most of them. They had a couple of takeaways. They had a sack fumble. They had some moments that really, if you go back to the game, stood out on why they won. What do you see the defense kind of growing from last week and going into this week with?
I really felt like when we were headed to the airport on Saturday after the game, and I heard Coach Kelly say it on Monday, and we were all talking about it, on the bus and the plane back, which was, it wasn't a giant leap forward, but we did see some steps forward. And Coach had told me during the week and on Thursday, and at first you thought he was just being nice to Coach Jenkins, because he was saying, hey, he's already made an impact. Even with 3 days on the field, we can see a difference. Again, that's hard to believe. But I, watching them on Saturday, thought you can see the handiwork of Pete Jenkins out there, just different. They were closer to the line of scrimmage. In the second half, I thought they got more aggressive up front. I thought Maason Smith had his best game of the year.
No doubt, maybe his best game ever.
I think Harold Perkins, again, the ability to go cover is something he's going to improve on. But he did just a tremendous job of faking pressure, dropping back, keeping his eyes on the quarterback. And, those first 3 drives, I thought, oh, my goodness, here we go again. Like, can we stop these guys? And, again, that wasn't the last score they got. But when he took that interception, that to me, changed a little bit. And I know that and Coach Kelly's 100% right, and people who agree with Coach Kelly are 100% right, that at the end of that game with 34 seconds, you get that interception if you're Major Burns, and you get down to the 5, the 4, the 3, wherever you want to go down, and you end the game. Yeah. You line up and you take knees, and it's over with. The only thing I think, and I'm not disagreeing with Coach, because I have no right in the world to do that, I just thought that defense needed some confidence. They needed some momentum. And in that given moment, again, take it into the end zone. It's an exclamation point, and you leave out of Missouri with that defense thinking, you know what, we played a good game. Not a great game, not a perfect game.
Something to grow on.
But we played a good game, and we were aggressive. And, next time down the road, I hope they take the knee and do what analytics tell them to do. Yeah. But in that particular moment, I thought that might be a shot in the arm for this defense.
What'd you learn on hearing voices this week?
This is amazing, and I know we talk about transfer portal all the time, but, Auburn, I think, over the last 2 years really lost their footing in recruiting, and that's just, in this league, at this level, that is, it can set you back really quickly. Yeah. And I think that's what we're looking at for Auburn. And while Hugh Freeze, I think, perfect fit, perfect time for that program, Andy Burcham, who's the voice of Auburn, pointed out to me on Hearing Voices that of the 2021 Gus Malzahn recruiting class on this roster that's coming into Tiger Stadium, there's one guy remaining.
Wow.
It's Jarquez Hunter. He happens to be a good player, but there's just one that was signed in 2021 that is still on this roster for Auburn.
That's pretty amazing that they're fielding a team.
Yes. You talk about turnover. They had to go to the portal themselves. They had to do it in a quick short of time, which is different. I don't think they were able to really pick and choose or be.
He's a take. He's a take.
Yeah. It's like, come on.
LSU basketball 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Take them all.
And so that's I learned that, which was fascinating. It is a team that's going to run the football. And look, we sat here before the season started, and I think you asked me, what do I think based on camp and scrimmages, what the weakest link would be, and I said, I think it'll be secondary. If nothing else, we got 2 new corners, or we don't have any returning corners, let me put it that way. We do have some veterans at safety, but then who knew you were going to have this terrible incident, with Greg Brooks. So, you're taking not only one of your better, or if not best, safeties, but certainly your defensive team leader. Now he's not in the mix. So am I surprised we've lost 2 games to a couple of teams that, again, throw the ball well, good quarterbacks, good receivers, when the weakest link, I said, or we all felt like in August, was going to be against the pass? So I'm not all that surprised. It doesn't mean I don't like, dropping 2 games, but, now looking forward, starting with Auburn, no disrespect to the quarterbacks we're going to see over the next 6 weeks, but they are different. The teams are different. Where I think this game at this particular time is a good matchup for LSU. Now, that doesn't mean, because these 2 teams, there's something crazy happens, seems like every time they play. But on paper, this is a good matchup at a good time, especially when you have a defense that, as I said, took a few small steps in improving last week. And again, I think that, this defense is going to be able to get better based on the matchups we've got, maybe until Texas A&M, depending on how healthy they are and who's at quarterback and all that. But this is a good weekend. I think, this is a chance for LSU to really, I think, make some hay.
And I think Tiger Stadium on Saturday night will
be rocking.
Yeah, I think it'll be rocking.
Yeah.
Weather will be right. Auburn's in town. Recruits are in town.
You've been around a long time. This played 32 straight years since 1992. When the divisions were established. There was kind of sporadic there for a lot of years, Auburn and LSU, but it became a mainstay.
That's right. Like Tommy Hodson never played. Or somebody never played Auburn. I forget. Like Bo Jackson never came to Tiger Stadium.
Yes,
that's right.
Exactly. So, what's your take? This is the last guaranteed meeting, so to speak, for the foreseeable future. Do you like having the Auburn LSU game, or are there other games you'd rather have?
For my generation, I'm 43. It was the game.
The game.
It was the game. When I was in my late teens, 20s, I mean, Auburn LSU every year was a war, and it was always something crazy would happen. Like you could
book it,
barn fires or crazy calls,
earthquakes,
or I mean, all of that stuff was happening during that time period. And I mean, some of the best games and memories I have of LSU, Tiger State road trips. I love the Auburn atmosphere. I think they do a great job of game day.
I was telling Andy yesterday, I said, hey, man, with all the turmoil and disappointment last year, you got that last 4 games of the season, man, with Cadillac.
Rocking,
I said, watching that Texas A&M game, I'm sitting there at the house watching it, and I thought ESPN, I give them a hard time, but I thought they did a good job of even more going over the top of showing what the stadium was doing. And I said, next thing I know, I'm sitting there pulling for Auburn against Texas A&M. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with me? Like I got caught up in the emotion of it. So you're right. I mean, Jordan-Hare, when it's rocking, is a tough place to play.
Man. To me, it's one of my favorite game day away from Tiger Stadium. I mean, they play like the Kid Cudi Pursuit of Happiness, and like the place goes, it's wild. I mean, when the Eagle before the game, I mean, it's as good as it gets. And for my generation, like I said, I mean, it's the game. I mean, it was the game that every year you were like, this is going to come down to the West, right? Like, I mean, this will have a ton to do with the West, and I hate to see it potentially go away.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, because it's a good, wholesome, healthy. Both sides respect each other, and it's a heavyweight fight. You know what I mean? It really, you can kind of throw the records out. Rarely has it ever been a blowout.
Yeah, right. I mean, you're exactly right. I did a hit on SEC Network this week with Alyssa Lang and Chris Doring, and they were talking about the barn burning and the earthquake game. They were talking all about the stuff that was done well before I got here. And they said, in your 7 previous games calling Auburn and LSU, which one stands out to you? Now, obviously, the walk-off kick by Cole Tracy was amazing on the Plains.
Yeah. I mean,
but the biggest game for me was the first game I did, LSU and Auburn, in 2016, where LSU for about 35 seconds thought they won the game. Come to find out, the clock had hit 0. They didn't get the playoff. And then less than 24 hours later, the coach is gone.
Welcome to Baton Rouge, Chris Blair.
Just learned everything I did about
hard
that.
to forget that
DJ
one.
Chart punt.
Yeah, that was an incredible. I mean, that was a game where Auburn looked like they were going to run away with it in the first half. Yeah. And then Gus Malzahn pulled a Gus Malzahn and said, you know what, we're going to stop running the ball.
That's right.
Let's throw it. Yeah. And let's let DJ Chart return one for a touchdown.
That's a great call.
These people are a little bored. Let's get Tiger Stadium up and at them.
So, yeah, it's hard for me to, with all the great games, it's hard for me to forget the, 2016, because there was a lot of activity right after that.
Blair's seen it. You know what I mean? Like, his book's going to be good. He saw early, late Maneri, late Miles. He saw it all, man. Great to see you. Have a great call. So tonight, obviously, you'll hear Brian Kelly speak to the media for the last time during game week. He will speak to them directly after practice today, and then from there, him and Bonnet shuffle over to TJ Ribbs, and Coach Brian Kelly sits next to Chris Blair for an hour for the Brian Kelly radio show over on South Acadian Thruway from 7 to 8 o'clock on the LSU Sports Radio Network. And the next time you see Coach Kelly will be kickoff Saturday night against Auburn in Tiger Stadium. So Chris Blair tonight, compliments of our friends over at Carriages. Have a great call. See you tonight at the radio show. There he is, CB checking in. We'll see him next week, and we'll see him in Death Valley on Saturday night. When we come back, we'll close it out right here from the Click Here Digital Studios for the Jordy Culotta Show. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. Bears Lawn Maintenance.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks.
And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Hey Tiger fans, when you're traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit Tom and Wright Granning at Go Mart and On The Go Deli, where you can fill up your tank and your belly. Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip. Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left. Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff, where the Po' Boys are so good you'll swear you're in Cajun country.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Let's be special. Let's be strong. Let's spell greatness from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
When law enforcement needed John Stefanski's help, he stepped up and passed the toughest fentanyl trafficking law in America. He's always had our back.
As Attorney General, I trust him.
I trust him. I trust John Stefanski to stand with law enforcement
And Louisiana families.
to fight back against violent crime. I'm with John Stefanski. I'm with John Stefanski. I'm with John.
I'm with John Stefanski.
I'm with John Stefanski for Attorney General. I'm with John Stefanski for Attorney General.
A real passion of mine is ACL injuries, but not just really in the treatment of ACL injuries, but how do we keep them from happening? So right here at Ochsner, we're doing some research studies on ACL injury prevention. We're working with some of our high schools, and we're testing different functional tests for athletes. And we're trying to identify people that are at risk for ACL tears. We're trying to catch them before those ACLs happen. And then we want to intervene with some injury prevention programs. And that's something that, being part of Ochsner Andrews Institute, and we can continue on that research. We can expand the impact of that research. We can bring that to more athletes in our community.
Jordy Culotta Show, as always, we are built by RMB Builders. Built every single day by RMB Builders, rmb-builders.com. Man, I didn't realize that really until Chris Blair just asked the question of that LSU Auburn series. Like, that is a casualty of realignment or losing divisions that, you don't really, I guess we don't talk about, we talked about all the games that were going to happen, right? Who is it? Alabama, Ole Miss, and
A&M. Texas A&M.
For LSU?
Texas A&M.
Back at Yale practice, bro. They're back to their rare form.
Texas A&M.
I mean, some of those things that they catch those guys doing, like the CBS cameras, that they must know like how to time it.
Yes,
it's like they hit them like on the hip. I mean, like when
Texas A&M,
and these guys, I can't even think of their names.
I mean, the all white short sleeve.
Right. I mean, the old Wranglers.
It is.
I mean, who?
It's a Saturday Night Live skit.
What do they have on you?
It's just like
what do
you have to be a yell leader if you want to graduate. I would say I'm not coming to school here. Like, you're not putting me through that hell. I don't know if I can financially recover from this
college degree.
Yes.
Like,
I don't think.
I'm not gonna do that, man.
This has to be a generational thing, right? Where it's your granddad's granddad was a yell leader. You're gonna be a yell leader,
I guess.
And it's like, Dad, this is not
because like I
can't do it.
I've seen them up close, and like you can tell, like they are
into it.
Like, dude, you could be like, would you like this supermodel or would you like this yell
overalls?
leader?
I'll be a yell leader for the rest of my life.
I mean, like 20 out of 10, I want to be a yell leader.
Slap my ass and call me Ricky. Yeah, gig 'em. And everybody.
I mean, the jokes just write themselves.
The funniest thing is you'll see the A&M like creatures come out the woodwork, and they're like, "If you're not there, you just don't get it." And I was like, that's the reason I don't want anything to do with it.
I know,
on the
like,
litany of things.
There goes
hell
Culotta
yeah.
again. Make
Puppet eggs.
Puppet eggs. Pump what?
1, 2, 3.
I mean, like, what are we?
There's nobody here.
What are we doing?
Pass it back, eggs.
Pass it back, eggs.
Hey, Keller.
Hey, Keller, Jackson,
Jacob.
Weston.
1, 2, 3.
Oh my gosh!
There's no
this
world.
Is college football. I mean, like, we've got a live tiger on the field. I mean, like, what are they doing?
And the A&M on the bus.
the bedazzled, dude. The stitches.
Man, this is comedy.
Gosh, man, dude, my childhood best friend.
Oh,
Rock Lee. Was, I mean, dude, he was hell in high school. I mean, like, he was one of the asked to leave Catholic high. You know what I mean? Like, we were expelled. We preferred asked to leave.
Yeah.
We're going to have to actually
transfer
leave.
portal.
You know, he ended up at Stanislaus in Bay St. Louis, kind of like, you know, that was the last resort for Catholic parents, you know, that were like, look, we don't, y'all deal with him. You know what I mean? Like, we'll
This
get
is
him
up
on
to you,
Fridays.
God.
Right? So, like, in his freshman year in college, he goes to Ole Miss, and, like, he is, like, made for Ole Miss.
That's
You know
what
what
it
I mean?
said.
Like, I mean, the guy is
Recipe for disaster.
He is the president of the freshman student body. You know what I mean? Like, we showed up to a game at Ole Miss, and we're walking around with him. I mean, we might as well have been walking around with Colonel Reb. You know what I mean? I mean, it didn't pay for anything. Well, his grandfather gets his grades.
Oh.
You know what I mean? They're like, this ain't happening, dude. Like, you're way too smart for this. These are the schools that you have. You're leaving Ole Miss. You're not going to LSU, and you're going to Texas A&M. And he's
Reform
like,
school.
What? Because he's like this engineering mind. He comes from the engineers. You know what I mean? So he goes to the top
fix him.
engineer school, graduates like top of the class, has a great life for it, but like says his experience at like the first yell practice, you know, he's like, what is, so he's like, kind of like gets there. He's like, what's everybody do around here for fun?
I know how to be popular.
You know? He's like, I mean, like, I'm a legend where I come from. You know what I mean? Like, just show me a pack of people
and I'll
let
leave.
me start the party. Right? Like, so he's like, well, y'all got to come to yell practice. He's like, all right, let's do it.
I'm excited.
So he's got like a pint in his sock. You know what I mean? He's got a flask in his back pocket. You know what
Couple
I
of
mean?
Lucy's in the
They're
pocket.
like getting started. He's like mixing a drink, and like all these people are like, "What are you doing?"
This is
like,
sacred.
Huh? He's like, "Yeah, y'all want something?"
Yeah.
You know, he's like, "Absolutely not." You know, they're like, "Security, security." He's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! What are y'all doing? What do you mean? What's going on?"
Hopefully this is a
We
joke.
don't drink here. You know, he's like, all right. My bad.
In front of God and the 12th man and everybody?
Yeah, like Colin said, he's like, bro, I don't know where I'm at. He's like, this place is Weirdville.
It's at the sober camp.
from there, dude, I mean, just the jokes, they write themselves, man.
I mean, you have Oregon flying in girls from the Spearmint Rhino to come in on Saturdays. Then you have Texas A&M with the Yell practice.
Dude, that's a hell of a recruiting staff you have to get 18 to 22-year-old kids to commit to you. I mean, like, or excuse me, like 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds. I mean, like,
Yell practice?
I mean, if I went to school with Gabe Relaford, I'd be like, bro, are you going to be a Yell leader?
Have you seen this?
I mean, like, how much money are they paying you? I mean,
you can't make it cool. Like, there's nothing you can do.
No way.
There's too much tradition you can't overturn it. Like, Jacoby Matthews just, like, posted pictures of him in the Aggie uniform, and you can just see the pain.
He's got to be. Like,
this isn't Tiger Stadium.
They got Lassie the dog running around out there.
They got the 12th man leading him out the tunnel. He's not going to play.
Oh, man, it's unbelievable, man.
And they're good, kind of.
I know, they are. I mean, of the remaining teams on LSU's schedule, A&M makes me fear the most.
You just always got to go Bama.
I'd go second
Why?
most. Because Max Johnson doesn't scare me.
You got the playbook on him? He
Mil-
doesn't. I mean, he's
Milroe,
fine.
Milroe scares me
I mean,
more
what's
than Max
LSU's
Johnson.
defense going to do against him, though?
What they're going to do against Milroe, and it's at Alabama.
Yeah.
They got the light show.
I don't know why Alabama does not put
I think you
fear
got
in me. I just...
Well, you slayed the demon. You slayed the giant.
No, and it's not because of last year. I just look at this year's team, and I just think they're not that good. I mean, really. I mean, like, their defense... Win. Yeah, no doubt. But they're just, by the standard...
Yeah, you're comparing them to old Alabama teams as opposed to...
But what they are more than old Alabama's are... old Alabama teams more than anything is that they're beatable.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're vulnerable. They're human. And I think what LSU does good...
They don't do good.
They struggle out. Now, what they are coming along at and really getting better is that their front seven, their front four specifically, are creating a push and creating trouble for the opposing passer. I thought the play calling last week was, I think Jimbo either took back over or
Jumbo.
It was weird in the second half. I mean, they were not setting him up for success. They were kind of running those long out routes, hash mark to far hash. I mean, it's like
Max Johnson can't make these throws.
Yeah, this is not playing into his strengths.
Yeah, and if he, like you said, he better be perfect. And if he ain't, it's an interception.
It's NFL offense. That's what you're asking him to do is make elite throws.
Right.
This should be
and
stealing.
Like third, fourth year guy in NFL offense. Like somebody's been in the league for a minute.
And it's not 2023 NFL offense. This is 1999 NFL offense where you're basically taking a 3-step, drop it out a shotgun and go, all right, make your reads.
It's weird, man.
And if you can't, if it doesn't give him anything to use his athleticism with. Like you saw that what he can do whenever he just got inserted into the game and was running around and making plays and he plays a little he plays off script. That's when Max Johnson's kind of at his best. And Jimbo, I think you're right. That's his offense looked totally different and they neutered him.
Yeah, you make Max Johnson.
He got scared to lose.
If you make Max Johnson play from the pocket, he'll struggle.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's very easy to call, right? Like, I mean, you can't be the play caller and put him in
a box,
5-step drop.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially with all the weapons they have.
Yeah,
the run game's right there, Coach.
I didn't think that A&M did not play to win that game. I mean, that was a. That was a
Jimbo special.
That was a Jimbo special.
That's when your coach is looking up at the clock going, okay, if we can run this,
the way they handled the clock going into halftime, he had a chance to get more points. He was up 7. Was he up? He was up 7.
No. Don't talk about Uncle Jimbo.
I mean, he had a chance to get more points.
He didn't do anything wrong.
Second half, I mean, he just
shelled.
I mean, he just gave it. I mean, not that Alabama did make plays, but I mean, it was like A&M didn't keep doing what they were doing well.
It was at Yale practice, man.
They ran out of steam. And that's at A&M.
Yes.
Texas A&M.
I bet that play, he talks about, you could tell that Missouri game, like Chris Blair, I wasn't there, obviously, but you could see it every time. They were terrified of LSU making a play, on defense especially. If they get one, it's like, oh, we can't keep up with the offense. And that's probably what you're going to see a lot of. If LSU either gets off the field on third down, which they did a better job of against Missouri, 4 of 11, or if they start creating turnovers. It's one of the two has to happen for LSU to have a chance to go on this run that we keep kind of seeing the schedule and projecting out when you have, 5 of 6 of your last games at home. You catch a little bit of a break with Army, then the bye week, and then you have Alabama. If you get through that unscathed, like you got a chance to get healthy. Florida's not very good, it doesn't feel like, and you catch them at home. And then you line up with the tilt against Jimbo and A&M, who had your number last year, but you feel like you have a pretty good idea of what you're getting.
Yeah.
That's why I think Alabama is the one that you have to circle on the calendar. It's because they're getting right. That defense, if LSU goes up, it's good on good because
it's going to be a tight game. I mean, I know
yeah.
that. I know
it's
a close one.
You just have to hope Jayden Daniels gets out of there alive.
I was about to say, who's better quarterback, Jayden Daniels or Max Johnson?
Oh my God!
In the A&M game.
Yeah, you have to hope he makes it there because that Alabama game, they're going to be breathing down his neck.
Hunting.
Same thing with Auburn. Their front's not bad.
No, it's not.
We got some good players in the secondary too.
That's one area of Auburn that is
strong.
Absolutely.
And
they're a matchup this week. If there's one on the field to watch, I would say LSU's offensive line and Auburn's front.
Saban makes me nervous though.
Always.
He seems back locked in.
And you want to get your you want to have your front five all be your starting front five. It's not a game where you can have is it Charles Turner be injured, especially at center, because that kind of dictates how your run game goes. And
the importance of nothing.
And that's a Nick Saban special. I don't know where he read that.
I don't know either.
Or is he just like working on his
philosophy skills,
eulogy for himself?
Jeez,
this is a foreword for a book.
Remember our friends over at Tiger Air Online. You can find them the new Zephyr model right here. You can get it for industrial. You can get it for the ballpark. You can get it for tailgating. Check out Tiger Air Online. This is the crew that invented the air-conditioned football helmets. They've got much more products, including the Zephyr. Check them out online at TIGERAIRE.com, TigerAir.com online. And we will see you tomorrow morning, Friday's edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. We will talk recruiting. Going to be a huge recruiting weekend tomorrow. We'll give you some of the faces and names that are going to be there. Don't forget Football Fridays tomorrow with the LSU Alumni Association over at the Lod Cook. Eddie Fuller is going to be there. Skylar Green is going to be there. Rondell Mealy is going to be there. Woo. Kevin Falk is going to be there. We got some list of legends that's going to be in the house. Confirmed KJ Malone, Marcus Randall is going to be in the house. There are going to be a lot of guys inside of our legends tomorrow of our Football Friday edition over at Lod Cook. Tickets still available for you to walk up and grab, or you can email Lauren Giffen at the Alumni Association. Let me make sure and get the right email address. The last time I handed out the email address, I handed out the wrong one. Let me get you the right email address if you want to get your information on the Football Friday edition of the LSU Alumni Association. It is Lauren, Lauren, Lauren at LSUalumni.org. Lauren at LSUalumni.org if you want to learn about how you can jump inside that room tomorrow. It was awesome, the first one, with storytelling and guys remembering their time, whether it was in the series of, I believe it was the Arkansas game. It was the Arkansas game. So we should have great stories from the Auburn game. And like I said, Earthquake Eddie's going to be there, which is worth the price of admission in itself. Have a great Thursday. We're back with you tomorrow morning. Compliments of our friend RMB live here on our Click Here Digital Studios and campus.
Shay, you better show up.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show, come have a good time. It's the hottest show around, we ain't gotta flex. Call up G, we get it done, we earning our respect. Tell recruits to let us in, where they going next. Throw up the L's, now we lit, band playing neck. From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we live, mic'd up for show. Open up the phone lines, come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show. Yeah, Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification, we about to go live. We got all your favorite guests, we got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta